time no see. I know, I've been a little MIA. Do I look any different? I'm in the next decade of my life. I hit my 30s. So that happened last week. And yeah, I did a live stream, and then I was going to do another live stream but ran out of time. And also, I don't think many people like the live streams because I don't get many views on them. So I'm back with a regular podcast again today. At some point, Mario will probably come home from work because he had a very early start and interrupt me, and then I'll get all self-conscious. But that's fine. I'm in a separate room. How have you all been? Welcome to the Corner of Craft. This is my knitting and crochet podcast in which we talk about knitting and crochet. I'm coming at you today from overcast but quite bright Nottingham here in the UK. And yeah, if you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. I think I've put them underneath now. Links can all be found in the description box below. The Crit and Knit Cal has come to an end. Thank you so much to everyone who has participated. Winners were randomly drawn and contacted, and prizes were sent out a couple of days ago. So that is all done, tickety boo. And yeah, I hope that you've all been well and that you've been having a great time. As great a time as you can have during a pandemic. For those that don't know, the UK has just kind of reversed some of the measures that it's taken, so that's always fun. Oh well, better excuse to eat cake and put even more weight on. Not complaining, freaking love cake. So, the tea I'm drinking today, to go in with my autumnal theme, is BIRD&BLEND, obviously, but it's their spiced pumpkin pie tea, which is so delicious. If you like that autumnal chai kind of thing, I personally find that BIRD&BLEND chai, for me, is way too spicy. I think it might be the ginger that's in it. No, it's too much. I love a chai, but I love a more subtle chai. This is just so tasty. Spiced pumpkin pie, BIRD&BLEND. If you want to get 20% off your tea and matcha, feel free to use the code HannahTBird20. It is an affiliate code, so I will get a bit of a kickback if you use it. And I believe, because I've had a few people say that the code doesn't work, I believe it's a one-use code. So, yes. Just so you know. But if you want to get 20% off your tea and matcha, HannahTBird20 is the code for you if you've not bought from BIRD&BLEND before. Before I get into the video, I have a really fun giveaway for you all. The gorgeous Heather of HG Designs Crochet. She got in touch weeks ago and I just forgot and then haven't done a podcast since. Released a beautiful sort of roll neck crochet pattern with granny squares on the front called Crocheting Revival, and has offered to give away a pattern to you lovely lot. So if you'd like to be, if you are a crocheter and would like to be in with a chance of winning, feel free to leave a comment in the description box below with some form of, you know, some way of me contacting you and letting me know what your crochet whip is. If you also want to comment just during the video or after the video and you don't want to enter, that's also fine. I will do a random comment generator, and if the person hasn't made it clear that they want to enter, for example, saying what crochet thing they're working on with some means of me contacting you, be that an email or your Instagram username. Instagram might be safer actually, leaving your Instagram username. And yes, you could make one of these gorgeous crochet patterns, absolutely stunning. Yes. If you just want to support Heather and purchase it from her, feel free to check out her Instagram. I'll pop it in the podcast notes as well as in the description box and also on the screen. And treat yourself. She's got, I think it's for sale on Ravelry, no, on Etsy, so you don't have to buy it on Ravelry. And yes, right, let's get on with the video. I'm going to be disappointing and let you know that I actually haven't finished any projects, which I know is absolutely ridiculous because I've been gone for so long. But I have a shop update on Saturday. and so I've been busy. When I first became a dyer, when I first started dyeing yarn and, you know, had the dream of it becoming a full-time gig, which I'm fortunate enough it is now a full-time gig. I'm the owner of the Corner of Craft and I dye Dungeons and Dragons themed yarn called Chromatic Yarns. When I first had the idea to become an indie dyer, I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to have loads of time to knit whilst yarn is dyeing, and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to get so much knitting done and it's going to be the best thing ever, and blah blah blah, because you see other podcasters who have dyeing businesses who just seem to get so much knitting done. Well, the mistake that I made with my business is that I also make stitch markers, which are incredibly time consuming to make. So when I'm dyeing yarn, I'm also making stitch markers, and when I'm not dyeing yarn, I'm making stitch markers, and when I'm not meant to be working, I'm making stitch markers, and when I'm watching TV of an evening when I'm not meant to be working, I'm making stitch markers. So yeah, my projects take me a bit of a longer time to get done than other people's. Oh well, hopefully you don't mind. I have no glasses on today. I feel like I look a bit weird because I'm not wearing glasses. So what I'm wearing today, I'm wearing my everyday slouchy beanie, which is made out of Chromatic Yarns Tabaxi, held together with wriggle fingers, I believe, in the imp colour, and the Tabaxi is on my tweed base, so it's pretty nice. I have the yarn here to make a grey one of these because I think that will get a lot of wear. I dyed my hair orange, but it's already faded, and I have blue on the end, so it's kind of going weird colour. But I have some more orange dye, so I'll be dyeing it again either this evening or tomorrow or at some point. And then the jumper I'm wearing is my So Faded jumper, which is knit out of various yarns. I have info on my project page, or I will leave all of the yarns in my podcast notes, which will be linked in the top comment down below. They're not on Ravelry anymore. I've taken them off Ravelry because I want my podcast notes to be accessible to everyone, and Ravelry currently isn't accessible to everyone, so podcast notes have been taken off of Ravelry. Some people have commented and asked, what's up with Ravelry, blah blah blah. So months ago now, they had a complete overhaul and a rejig, and changed how their website looked, and I thought, fantastic, this is great, about bloody time. But unfortunately, many people were saying that using the website has led them to having terrible migraines, even seizures, and which is just awful, absolutely awful. And I don't understand, but anyway, they gave the feedback in various threads, and Ravelry, instead of saying, oh my god, this is horrendous, quick, let's put it back to how it used to be while we fix these problems, were like, most other people think it's fine, so we're just going to leave it, and good luck. And yes, you can switch back to classic mode, but even classic mode has different font and different letter spacing, which is what is causing people all the problems. And yeah, Ravelry, instead of changing anything, I mean, they have tried, but they're missing the mark, so I can't even give them credit, because so many people have offered to help and give feedback, but they're just like digging their heels in. So podcast notes will be off of Ravelry. Podcast group is still there, but I just don't really post in it. I did host my Crit and Knit Cal in it because I'd started hosting it in there, and I had a couple of people, or I think only one person actually, messaged me to say, hey, I've got this, can you enter it into the Crit and Knit Cal for me? And I did that, and that was fantastic. But yeah, so Ravelry notes and on my website, because my website has a blog. I have a blog. I'm sorry, what is this, 2010? So, ooh, I've left a whip behind. There is so much yarn in my house. It's actually ridiculous. The sooner I get these advents out the door, the better. And because postage has increased, again, for the third time this year, sorry, I'm having to comp a bit of postage, which is whatever. It's fine. But I have decided to sew the postages maybe as cheap as I can make it, to not put them in a box because that would add to the weight. I never explicitly said in my advent listing that it would be in a box, but in my head it was going to be. But I think just to keep costs down, I'm going to avoid the box. All of the yarn is dyed, all the mini skeins are dyed, and they're all twisted up. I just have to dye the Christmas Day skein, but I keep putting it off because there's so much pressure. But I will dye it up next week, and I will start packaging up the mini skeins next week and twist up the big skein. Oh, hopefully they will go out in 2 weeks' time. Fingers crossed. Because I want them at my house before I move, so I don't have to move all of them. Does that make sense? Anyway, so yeah, don't have as many finished objects, which is very unfortunate, which is why I thought I'd wear my knitwear today. I realise it sounds like I pung my bra strap. That's impossible. I'm not wearing a bra. A vest top. Cool. So, my first whip that I just went and got is living in my tea bag from down Sheepy Lane, the gorgeous Deb. I could only think of her first name. And these are technically a whip, but I just haven't touched them in a really long time. So, these are my Tiger King socks from Fab Funky Fibres, and I've knit them both. I just need to put heels on. So it was only a 50-gram doodad, so they're going to be a bit of a shorter sock. But I did turquoise for the top, I've got black for the toe. Hindsight, kind of wish I'd just done black as the accent for all of it. So, but I'm not asked enough to pick up stitches and re-knit the rib. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So I just need to put my heel in, and I can't remember where I didn't mark where my heel's gonna be. Anyway, they've been a whip for ages, so maybe by the next time they'll be a finished object, because I actually need to get it done. But they're really fun. They're inspired by Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, that most of us watched at the beginning of lockdown. You know, when it was fun. I mean, in all fairness, it wasn't fun. I had constant issues with being able to breathe, to the point where I thought, do I have the Roni? I didn't have the Roni, just really bad anxiety. It's fine, I'm fine. Cool, we'll leave that whip for a little bit. Oh, good, you didn't see anything. We'll stick with socks while we're on socks. Goodness, the skein has fallen out of there. We'll put that there. So, my skein twisters, my ball winder's broken. Georgie, the gorgeous Georgie of the Fibre Fox, who I adore and have got quite close with over lockdown. We've been chatting quite a lot. She has actually ordered me a new ball winder, but I either need to collect it from her or arrange to have it posted here. I suppose I could arrange for a courier or something. Anyway, it depends what happens. But yes, she doesn't live too far away, like an hour and a half away, so I could collect it. So I've been balling up all of my yarn, and it takes a bloody age. So my yarn caking services have been removed from my website because I do not have time to sit and hand wind a ball of yarn. I'm really sorry. But so these are my Sheffield Relish socks for Mario, because he's a Sheffield boy and he introduced me to Henderson's Relish. For those that don't know what it is, it's essentially Worcester sauce, Liam Perrin's Worcester sauce, but it's not that because it's better somehow. It is veggie as well, which I do think is better because Worcester sauce is not veggie. Also, one of my favourite things about watching American cooking shows, because we discovered we can get Food Network, because you can get an app to watch Food Network, and we bloody love Food Network, but it's the attempt of a pronunciation of Worcester sauce as Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. I have to say it like a West Country accent. Worcestershire. Worcester sauce. Even so, it should be Worcestershire sauce, but Worcester sauce. Anyway, yes, so 72 stitches, 2.5mm needles, 2x2 rib for this many rounds. I think 18, maybe 15. 15 or 18 rounds, usually until I get really bored. I usually get bored about 12 and then I force myself to add a few more on. And then 3x1 rib for the body of the sock. I did a different heel, which I kind of regret, but my mum taught me into it. It's an Eye of Partridge heel, and I believe it's the heel that's on the Hermione's Everyday sock pattern, because you got the little garter thing up the side. My mum loves this heel pattern. Little garter things up the side, blah, blah, blah. I don't like this sock pattern because I hate picking up stitches and then having to decrease for God knows how long. I much prefer the New Depths heel, which is what the heel I usually use, for example, on this sock, which is in my Ellen colourway. Yeah, where you just increase however many, you do short row heel, and then you decrease, and then you're back on to knitting the same amount of stitches, and it's boom, so quick. And you don't have to fart around picking up any stitches. Heel pattern by Becky Sorensen, sock pattern by Becky Sorensen. This is the Sterntaler socks. Free if you sign up to a newsletter. So anyway, I'll stop promoting Becky, even though, oh my goodness, speaking of Becky. So Becky has an amazing dream. I don't know if she's put it out there too much, but if you follow her on Instagram, you may, oh no, my box lid is broken. You may have noticed that she's been doing a lot more of like being out in the countryside and foraging and farming-y things, and behold, my crops from my balcony and things like that, which I think is super cool. But she shared a video on her Patreon about when she went camping and hiking in the Rhine region of Germany, and it was really entertaining, really fun to watch, and hopefully she puts it on her YouTube channel soon, so go and subscribe. I believe she's Becky Sorensen on YouTube now. She's changed her YouTube name, which is very exciting. Anyway, I love her. But I have Partridge heel. Not too awful, but just a kind of a bit of a faff, and they never look how I want them to, but you know, whatever, it's just a heel. I knit this sock in like super speedy time because we went away to Bedford for a bit of a mini break, Mario and I, so I just basically knit a sock, and then I went to stay with my parents for a couple of days, and so I knit the heel and most of the sock there while I was there, and then I finished the toe. It's amazing what you can do when you've got time, but I didn't want to like lug a cardigan with me because I wanted something that I didn't have to concentrate on. But then I cast on my second sock, literally knit the cuff in the car, and then was like, cool, that's me done, and then I have barely picked it up since. Every so often I pick it up, but this yarn does pull, and I don't know if I hate it, but we're just embracing it because it's a pair of socks. It's going inside of a boot, inside of some trousers. It's not the end of the world. But, oh yeah, Sheffield Relish is by Peak District Yarns, and this was her, the Monty colourway, but there is also some on the website because my dad's having some, and my sister's partner has requested some, so I have ordered extra skeins for everyone. My sister's partner's feet are huge because he's like 6 foot massive. So Mary's feet are, I mean, they're huge for his height, but they're not as big. So hopefully anything that's left over from this ball can get sent down to my mum, and my mum can knit some 6 foot massive socks, because I'm not going to do that. My mum's retired, she has the time. That is living in a gorgeous project bag that Rachel made for me. Ravenclaw Rachel, the Crafty Historian, I believe is her podcast. I could be wrong. But yes, magical creatures, and you've got griffins and unicorns and dragons and pixies and Beadres. Is that everything? Yeah, it was nice. And yeah, it's just really cute, and like, I like it. So the other pair of socks that I cast on when we went to Oxford for my birthday. I went with my mum and dad, sister and her partner, and obviously Mario as well. We just went for a few days, stayed in an Airbnb. We socially distanced when we were out and about, and there were only 6 of us in a house, and yeah, I mean, I don't need to justify myself to you, but anyway, on Thursday, on my birthday, I cast on a sock made from Rainbow Cake yarn, which is by the Yarn Badger, and yeah, she sent me the kit, and it also came with a little rainbow cake charm that was by, I believe, Chapelview Crafts. I could be wrong, but she makes cute things like this, so that's why I think it might be her, which is so cute. I changed the finding because it was on a ring. I changed it to one of my earring findings, and yes, so it's just really cute rainbow sock, it's going to be, I'm knitting this on 2.25mm needles and 64 stitches, and this is just my easy peasy, oh I don't actually want to think about what I'm doing, or oh I'm in the car going to the bakery, because Mario thought he set the prover at the bakery for the wrong time, but he hadn't set it for the wrong time, and we just ended up driving into town so he could go to the bakery for no reason, and he didn't even get me a sweet treat at the end of it, but I did manage to get a couple of stripes knit, so not complaining. But yes, this is absolutely beautiful yarn, and I'm really glad I saved it as my birthday cast on. I love it. It's her merino nylon base, so 75-25 superwash merino and nylon, and I believe she's having an update this weekend. I believe. Do I have any more of hers here? No, but I've knit a fair few using her yarns, because I love buying self-striping yarn, because who can be asked to do the maths to do self-striping yarn? Not I. Luckily Liz can, and Helen can, and of Giddy Yarns, and Libby of Neil and Fred. So many other people can be asked. Thank God, because it means I can still knit gorgeous self-striping yarns and support an indie maker, which is the ultimate dream in life, because otherwise you've got to buy commercial striped yarn, and that's all very well and good, but do I really want more money going to a big business? No, not really. I'd rather give it to the little people, as in the one-woman show or one-man show, rather than, you know, a corporation. I always get questions about where my mug is from. My mug was a wedding present, but it was one that we requested, and it was from Habitat. And yeah, it's massive. It holds 500ml of tea, which is the perfect size. It's like a cauldron of tea. And we did have two, but Mario smashed one, so he's been on a bit of a rampant at the moment of smashing multiple mugs in a very short, or glasses in a really short period of time. If he could stop, that would be really useful. They're all accidents, obviously, but anyway. So, shall we move on to the Granny Square blanket party? Granny Square party. My Granny Square blanket has taken a bit of abandonment. That's not the right word. I've abandoned my blanket for a little bit. Not for any particular reason, other than I've got other whips to work on. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, a plethora of stitch markers, which are actually all in this little box here, a plethora of stitch markers that I have been trying to make. I have over 100 for Saturday's update, so I think we have some. It's not my biggest stitch marker update, but you know, it's pretty hefty. So yeah, I am making a Granny Square blanket, as you can see. I am joining them all together with a skein of undyed yarn. Actually, I'm on my second skein of undyed yarn now, in my sturdy sock base, because why not? I am actually going to be putting some skeins of undyed yarn in my shop update for those of you who want it, basically, because it's fun, and some people just want it for colour work. It's useful for heels, cuffs, toes. It's useful to do for round the edge of your blanket, and obviously will be cheaper than if I were to dye it and stuff. But yeah, I've added, I think, one row since I last spoke to you, so I have added some. And yeah, so I'm using a 3mm crochet hook, and I'm using my scraps of 4-ply yarn, and I'm just doing 6 rounds, and yeah, they only use about 5 grams of wool, which is really useful. Oh, the gorgeous Orly, who is Bees and Yarn. Is she Bees and Yarn podcast? I need to double check. Oh my goodness, how do I have 21 Twitter notifications? What's happened? Oh, is it logged into my old Twitter account? Bee and Yarn. Bees and Yarn. It is Bees and Yarn. Anyway, she sent me a birthday present, and she sent me a gorgeous teaspoon, which is there, and ooh, and some gorgeous mini skeins to go in my blanket, so I might put some on this evening. And yeah, it has been worn. The blanket has been worn whilst it's been getting chillier and slightly more autumnal. I have decided to wear the blanket, which is nice. But yeah, my blanket is currently 10 squares wide and I don't know how long to make it. And I'm using the join as you go method, and the beauty of the join as you go method is if I decide I want it wider at another point, I can always add on a column or so. So just a really great use of scrappy blankets or scrappy yarn, and I have loved seeing you all take part in the Granny Square party using the hashtag Granny Square Party on Instagram. Yes, everyone should join the party. Alison of Lofty Loops and I feel very strongly about this. We have chats on Instagram about how everyone should join the Granny Square party, and yeah, it's just pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it still, even if I have abandoned it for a little bit. I just have some squares downstairs to attach, but you know how it is. We've not played D&D for a little bit, and that's usually my D&D project because I haven't had an easy pair of socks on the needle. So I usually just sort of do a row of squares during D&D, but we've not had a session in a while, so maybe I can make some in Sunday's session. Or maybe I'll work on who knows what will happen. Who knows? So let's move on to, speaking of the gorgeous Becky Sorensen, I'm knitting one of her patterns, living in my little grey girl donut bag with my Jester Lavore pin on from Critical Role. This is by Secret Cat Shop. It's not official Critical Role merch, it's fan merch. But it's super cute, so I had to buy one. Anyway, my Telegram cardigan is happening. I'm in a tangle. There we go. So I believe I was here the last time I spoke to you with my T-pin, T-stitch marker. And so I have finished the body. I have done my first tubular cast off. It needs blocking, obviously. I've done my first tubular cast off. It took me hours, but worth it. It's beautiful. I put off doing it for a really long time because I couldn't, well, first off, the first time I attempted it was late at night when I was really tired. And all the video tutorials I had seen were for knit one, purl one, and the rib of my cardigan was purl one, knit one, and I couldn't work out how to do it backwards. So I just knit two together on the row before. So then I got rid of the purl one. Or I purled two together. I think I purled two together on the row before, so we'd start with a knit one. It worked. You gotta do what you can to make it work. Yeah. Very proud. I have picked up my sleeve. So yeah, this was kind of long abandoned because every time I thought about doing the cast off, I was like, I need to sit and do it when I'm mentally awake and not really tired at the end of a night, and I know this is going to take me hours. So on Saturday, I believe, just gone, Saturday just gone, I sat and I worked out and I did it, and I love it, and it's fantastic. Tubular cast off is so much fun. But I have picked up the stitches on the sleeve. I feel like I've knit loads on the sleeve, and yet I have not. We've gone from here, but I have managed to bloop. I have a hole, I need to sew it up, I know. But I've managed to successfully continue on the gorgeous cable design. This is the Telegram cardigan. And today, actually, Becky is releasing some socks with the same cable design. So if you love the cable design but don't want to knit a whole cardigan, treat yourself to the Telegram socks because they're actually stunning. I'll pop a picture just there. Look how cool they are. And that wall was in some gorgeous place she stayed in Portugal that she went this summer. Amazing. I'm so jealous that she's been able to get out and travel so much. But yes, I've picked up my sleeve and I'm just working down the sleeve. The plan is do a sleeve. I have gorilla arms. I always have to knit an extra inch on my arm to what the pattern says. So knit my sleeve, do the button band, knit my sleeve. I might regret that, but we'll see. Yes, So I'm on the sleeve. I am knitting this out of, well, this is yarn that I've dyed on a non-superwash base, which is a Peruvian Highland wool, I believe. Oh no, it's not Peruvian at all, it's just Highland non-superwash, I think. Anyway, sorry, my brain all over the place. Because Becky loves using non-superwash yarn in patterns, so I'm like, well, I kind of have to follow her lead. Yeah, I cast this on so long ago, and I've eaten quite a lot of cake since then. So hopefully, by the time I finish, it should still fit. Hopefully. If not, I will have to wear it open. Ah, the quarantine cake. Sometimes it's just what got me through an afternoon. But yes, so we're on the sleeve. And yeah, I'm alternating skeins. This is technically my Moonbeam colour, which I haven't dyed in a million years. I have this much left of my first two skeins, which I'm currently alternating. And then I do have another skein as well somewhere. I don't know where I've put it though. But here is one other skein. And I do have another one. Ooh, I've got a bead on there. There we go. Well, like half a bead because it must have broken. But yes. So I need to ball this up at some point. And yeah. I'm actually really enjoying it now that I've got past the cast off. The thought of doing the cast off put me off knitting it for a little bit, but that's okay because I got going on another whip, not the sock. So let's pop that away. We're our own worst enemies with procrastination sometimes, aren't we? I am anyway. So we have another little grey girl project bag, but I have my little bee on it from Holly Heartfelt. But yes. Got the wizards going, my wizard sleeve bag. Let's not go there. So this is my All About That brioche shawl, which is all tangled up all over the place. Ta-da! I am knitting this out of Dragonhorde yarn. I just keep thinking of people's first name, it's a real problem. Tristan, Dragonhorde yarn in her Come Alive colour, which I believe is discontinued, but is gorgeous. And Yarn Cafe Creations, Christy, this is her Gothic colourway, which is beautiful. And they're both on the 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon base, and it's so buttery soft, it's beautiful. But I'm on the brioche portion, huzzah! So I've put in my lifeline, because we all need a lifeline in life, because I thought, what if I forgot how to brioche? I haven't. I've still got it. Still pretty easy. But yes, so Come Alive knits up really beautifully. Gorgeous. And then yes, Come Alive is the perfect contrast. They hadn't even, because they gave this to me as a gift in Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and they hadn't even collaborated on what yarn they were giving. And they managed to get ones that go so beautifully together. I also bought this bag at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and it's like so purple and grey, it's amazing, which is clearly my aesthetic, she says, as she's not wearing purple and grey today, but it's heavy on the mint green and the mustard, which the hat doesn't go with the jump, I don't care. But my hair is usually purple or blue or something in that, not orange, but it's faded a lot, so it's barely orange now anyway. Yes. I have one of my new stitch markers on here. It's my, it's got a little wonky wand. There we go, straightened up. So we have my wizard with metallic iridescent garb. And then I've also got a dragon. But yeah, I've managed to get quite a lot done since I last saw you. And yeah, we've got going on the brioche portion. And I believe I've done one repeat of the brioche, so I've got a couple more to do, and then you switch the order. I've knit this before. You switch which is the dominant colour, and then you continue up, and yeah, I really enjoy this. I think this is a really good, this was my first foray, that's the word I was thinking, foray? No, sounds like Poirot. My first foray into brioche, and yeah. I'd say it's beginner friendly for brioche. It was also my mum's first foray into brioche, and she did not get on with it quite so well. she could do it, but it's if she like dropped a stitch or if she'd done something wrong because she wasn't paying 100% attention to it. But it's really pretty, so yes, I'm excited to wear that once the weather gets even colder. I think I might have to treat myself to a new coat this year. I think it's time. It's been a while. And yeah, well, that appears to be all of my whips. Let's have a quick tea break. So this weekend was meant to be Yarndale. I was astounded to have got into Yarndale, but I found out during the whole lockdown situ, so was not overly optimistic that it would be happening. And as predicted, it is not happening in person, but it is happening online. So Yarndale at home is a thing that is happening, but I will be having my shop update for Yarndale at home at 12 PM midday on Saturday, and that is BST, British Summertime, UK time. So, you know, look up around that. I will be going live on Instagram probably about half an hour before, just for a little knitter and natter, and to sort of show you my wares and whatnot. I don't have a whole host of yarn dyed. I was in a bit of a funk after we got back. I've been dyeing Advents, which takes over your life. I've been making over 100 stitch markers, which takes over your life. And I have been, where are the words? Once we got back from Oxford last week, I was just in such a funk. And I don't know if it was a post-holiday funk, or if it's a, oh my god, I'm 30 funk, or if it's just, I ate too much cake and I'm in a bit of a funk. But I was in a bit of a dyeing funk, or just a funk full stop. So I didn't want to dye anything, so that meant that I added to the stitch markers that I've made, which is great for you. Because bead weaving is always so much less effort for me than dyeing yarn. In regards to, I don't have to pack away a whole kitchen and clean a whole kitchen in order to dye yarn, to then clean a kitchen and pack it all away again. I can just sit and put the telly on and drink lots of tea and just make stitch markers. Sometimes that's all my brain wants to do, and that's what it's been doing. But I do have a few different colourways for you. I also, very excitingly, have two new bases for you too. Partly because, so some of you all know there was a bit of a Merino sock shortage, and that's not a problem for me because I don't use that particular base. But I got a bit cocky and arrogant, and now there is a BFL nylon shortage, because I'm guessing the people that don't usually buy BFL who bought Merino now bought the BFL, which meant that there's no BFL for the people that usually buy BFL, but it's by the by. I have enough for the Advents. I subconsciously set that aside. It's there. But I do actually have some 100% BFL, which is still suitable for socks, even though it's got no nylon in, because Blueface Leicester has a longer staple. So like the actual strand of wool is longer, so it doesn't pill as easily, it doesn't wear through as easily, and blah blah blah. So I do actually have a, oh, that's not the right one. I knew it was this colour, but I picked the wrong one up. So yeah, it basically looks and behaves pretty much like my sturdy sock base, but it's just BFL 4-ply, which I have great admiration for all the people that dye their yarn bases such gloriously complicated names. I also know that I could not keep track of my own thing, and sometimes I can find it a little tricky to find what I'm looking for in other people's shops, because they've called their name Flooflepoof instead of Merino sock. So I will go through my yarn names. They're all pretty much, hey, this is what this is. So BFL 4-ply. I'm not calling it BFL sock, even though it is suitable for sock, just to differentiate the two. It's BFL 4-ply. This is on a new colourway, which is called Luna, which is inspired by my sister's Dungeons and Dragons character, who is a moon elf ranger. She's got silvery skin, and I need to look up her description. So she's got pale blue skin, sorry, very pale blue skin, silvery hair, blue eyes with gold flecks, and she wears sort of black dark clothing. So that is what I've gone off. So we've got the blue skin, the silvery hair, the gold flecks, and Got some blue speckles for the blue eyes and some black for the darker clothing. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. So this is Luna. This is going to be across all 4 of the bases that I will be showing you. This is it on merino sock, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. Oop. And it's just, oh, merino picks up dye differently, which is why it looks, that's why they look different from each other, because it just picks up dye differently. But love, think they're beautiful. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry, little unicorn, did not mean to knock you over. Oh no, now you're having a fit, hissy fit. Come on. There we go. So the other new base that I have, I don't really know what to call this. I'm thinking stripy merino 4-ply. I believe it's called like zebra or something. So a lot of people have been calling it zebra, but it's not got zebra in it, obviously. But it is 100% superwash merino, and it basically has like a black strand of merino going through some parts of it, which I think is beautiful. So I'm thinking of calling it like stripy merino 4-ply. Is that too wordy? Maybe, who knows. But yes, so I have Craven Edge, which is across all 4 of the bases as well, and this is always a popular one. It is a mid-grey, let's say, with speckles of sort of a dark red, a bit of a brighter red, and then black as well, inspired by the weapon that Grog Strongjaw uses in Critical Role, which is basically, it's an evil weapon, and he's very lucky that it didn't get worse than it did. But yeah, beautiful colour. This was requested, so I've brought it back. I have Spirit Guardians, so this is my sparkle sock base, which is a merino, nylon and lurex combo. Also seen on here. Wee, so sparkly. You could not see the sparkle there. But Spirit Guardians, a beautiful pale pink, sort of a mid-grey once again, with some sort of deep maroony, I suppose, plum-ish, like a deep raspberry, speckles, and some brighter pink speckles, and yeah, oh, so beautiful. I also have Tabaxi, which is what this is. Obviously this is my tweed base, and it's held double with a different colour, which is why it looks slightly different, but I promise it is the same. And a Tabaxi is like a cat person. So I've dyed this inspired by basically leopard print, and on camera it looks more green, but in person it's way more golden, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Don't know if it's because I'm comparing it to here, but in my eyes it's not that green. But it's this gorgeous golden yellow colour with speckles of black and dark brown and some brighter yellow, and oh, dreamy. And then I have Dewy Spice, which I personally think is perfect for this time of year, and I'm tempted to just not put this in the shop and knit myself a jumper out of it, or just dye myself up some more. And I do also have Moloch going in the shop, which is a gorgeous red colour that I'm slightly obsessed with, and Fungal Form, which is a sage green colour with sort of brown speckles on. People seem to like Fungal Form. I didn't know if it would sell because of its name, but I think some people bought it because of its name, so yes. But they're still drying, which is why they're not all twisted up, and I'm not showing them to you. And why I'm looking over there, because my drying rack is just there. So, stitch markers. I have over 100 stitch markers going in the... Oh no! New product alert. I showed this at the end of my first business helpful YouTube series. A small business, creative business series. I have some enamel pins that I've had made. So you have this gorgeous crit and knit pin for all of you nerdy knitters out there who also play Dungeons and Dragons. Yes. And whoop, let's turn this around. I also have some small business supporter pins, so you can wear the fact that you are a small business supporter with absolute pride. I designed both of these, and I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not an illustrator, I can't draw for anyone, but I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to come up with both of these, and I'm slightly obsessed with them. I just think they're super cool. Do you like them? Let me know if you like them. Let me know if you want to buy one. They go in the shop on Saturday. Stitch markers. I have over 100 stitch markers going in the shop. So let's stick with the wizards because I've already shown you one. All of my stitch markers come on a finding like this. They open like this, you do it like this, which makes them perfect for knitting and crochet. They make fantastic progress keepers if you're knitting a sleeve and you feel like you're not going anywhere. Clip one of these on and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I actually have knit today. And also I like using them to mark the ends of rounds when I'm knitting hats. I used one on here. Not this one. I actually think I used an owl. Yeah. Because they fit over most needles. Let me demonstrate on, I think these are these 3.75 needles. Ooh, they fit so well, there is still room. So, they fit on a lot of needles. I mean, there's going to be a point that they don't fit, but because they're so thin, you can still use them to mark ends of rounds. Whereas I find the lobster claw ones, because I used to use the lobster claw ones when I first started knitting, and yeah, I just get a gap at the beginning of my round because lobster claws are pretty chunky. Anyway, so these are all made using a technique called bead weaving, which is sewing these tiny beads together one by one. So each little square you can see on its eyes is a bead, and I sew them together one by one to create these cute little things, and they're very lightweight. That doesn't demonstrate how lightweight they are, but they're very lightweight. And so yeah, they won't drag on any weight of yarn like some polymer clay charms can, for example. So this is a wizard design that I came up with, and I'm pretty obsessed with him. So I've got him in a lavender purple colour. I've got him in a royal blue colour with a light grey beard. And I have him in the metallic blue and purple iridescent with a white beard. They all have a little wand, just his little hand like hello. I tried to accurately convey the wizard sleeves. We won't go there. So whilst we're on the topic of new patterns, I also bust out my old sock pattern that I made. So I buy a lot of my patterns, but I'm trying to sort of get out of doing that and try to make my own. But someone that I buy my patterns from excuse me, has a stocking pattern, and I spent hours trying to make that stocking pattern into a sock. So here we go, we have a sock. I mean, it's not new. I did it while I was still living in Germany, so that's at least 3 years ago. But we have a pumpkin sock, that's the new aspect. It's meant to be like a jack-o'-lantern with the face carving. It's pretty cute, it's pretty cute. Perfect for those Halloween things. So while we're on the subject of pumpkins, I have some more of these bad boys going in the shop because I know you all love them. But now I'm just going to grab what's up. If it's next time, I'm going to run out of battery. Some tiny owls. I have some cows with their full body. That will make sense in a second, because I also have cows with just the head. These are all stitch markers that you've all requested, so you better want some. I have some pastel rainbow sheep stitch markers, because it's been a while since I've busted them out. To the point that someone shared a picture of them, and someone who collects my sheep stitch markers was like, what's that one? I don't have that one. So Claire, that's for you. I have some nondescript police telephone boxes. You know what I mean. nondescript. I have some more flower crown sloths. Oh, it's so much nicer showing you all these when I've got my nails nice and long and painted. I have some dragons. This one is purple with the metallic wings. And then I got this green one, also with the metallic wings. I have the bat, which is kind of an iridescent grey, that one is. And then I have this purple bat. I brought back the avocados because why the devil not? They're so cute. Gold sheep, which I realise now I've got on the wrong colour finding. It's usually on a gold one, but I've put it on a silver one. I will switch it over because I just forgot. I just did it because they were there. I have some baby penguins because it's been a while since I did a baby penguin. In fact, I haven't done these since Etsy shop, so once again that's almost 3 years. And then it's just over 2 years since I had my Etsy shop, and that's probably a Christmas one, so it's probably almost 3 years since I did it. I have some tiny dragons, or I have, yeah, just the green ones this time. Tiny goes with a pumpkin. I have a purple sock with sort of lilac accents, and then I have my giant rainbow because they sold so quickly last time and I know you all like them, so I've got some more going in the shop this time. So that is what is going in the shop this Saturday, 12 PM BST, and that is at thecornerofcraft.co.uk. Be sure to set your alarms. My stitch markers do sell out very quickly usually, and yeah, I have 2 hands, I can only make so much. And yes, thank you all for your continued support of my business. So briefly, life stuff. Basically nothing's really been happening because there's a global pandemic, but like I said, went to Bedford for a few days, which was really nice, just to get away and look at some different walls, and also wandered around Bedford. Like, obviously still social distancing. Basically I'm still social distancing, I don't need to say it. I have noticed that a lot of people are saying this, where they're like going out and meeting people like, we were social distancing, blah blah blah. I know what I was doing, I don't need you to presume. But yes, oh, also in the shop I do have some skeins of yarn that were like one-offs that I either dyed as a mistake or I dyed and then thought, don't know how I feel about this skein, that I usually save for a bargain bin at shows, but obviously because there are no shows, I have not been able to have a bargain bin, so I am thinking of doing like a virtual bargain bin where these skeins will be a significant lower price than my usual skeins. I'm also tempted to have a D-stash. I have like yarn sat right here that I've fished out of here that I'm thinking of de-stashing, but I just have to keep looking at it for a bit and deciding if I actually want to de-stash. The struggles, the struggles. So yes, I'm hoping to have a bargain bin section on my shop, just so I can clear some stock out, because I'm still in the process of buying a house, and hopefully it's happening at some point so I don't actually have to, basically I'm just trying to do it so I don't have to move loads of stock. So yes, I went to Bedford, that was really nice. We went down to my parents for a couple of days because it was my dad's birthday, my grandma's birthday, so we saw my grandma, and that was also lovely. And then, yeah, saw my parents again like a couple of weeks later because we went to Oxford because we'd never been before. None of the universities were open to the public, which is completely fair enough because usually they are. You can have a wander around. We are not in usual times. So we just had a general wandering, and yeah, it was nice. It's a absolutely beautiful place if you've not been before. We were very fortunate in that. I think we caught the last few days of summer. I am lucky in that my birthday does usually have really nice weather. For some reason. We tend to have a bit of a blip and then it comes back from my birthday. I'm like, yes. So it was beautiful. I'm so hot and like, put the sun cream on because I do not tan. As you can see, I am this colour. But yeah, and now we're just waiting on house stuff. We packed up some bits. Other than that, I just feel like I'm buying stuff all the time, which I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I've put off buying business things for a really long time because I didn't want to have to move them, and then I ran out of envelopes. So then I had to buy envelopes and blah blah blah. And so I've just had a lot of deliveries this week. It's really annoying. But yes, that's it. I've switched to paper envelopes, so that's very exciting. I've got a fun rubber stamp so I can stamp all your envelopes so you know it's from me. Hello, it's from me. It's not what it says. Oh, I wish I'd made a stamp now that says hello, it's from me. Yeah. So, that's it. That's all I have to say. Nothing's really happening. Mario is still going to work. He's still baking and making delicious things. I'm still working from home and making beautiful things. And, is that arrogant? I don't know. Oh, I also have some sock sets going in the shop. So it'll be a fun surprise for you during the update. Yeah. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'm very scatterbrained. If you'd like to follow me on social media, please feel free. Links can all be found in the description box below, as well as a link to my Ko-fi account. I know that I've been messaged by some of you that said that you want to support me and the channel and my life, but you don't want to add to your yarn or stitch marker stash, and that is where Ko-fi comes in. So if you would like to donate a couple of quid there, that would be fantastic. If not, feel free to buy my yarn. Or if you just enjoy the content for enjoying the content, that's also perfectly fine. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, it would be much appreciated. I do try to do a fortnightly podcast much like this, and I also have started doing creative business series. The next one is about finances. Hooray! How exciting! Said no one, but I'll do my best to keep it exciting because finances are really important when you're running a business. Yes, so if you'd like to subscribe and you think that sounds like something you want to watch, then feel free. I think it's below the video usually, and also feel free to give the video a thumbs up. It not only helps to get my video out there into the YouTube sphere, but it also validates me in ways that nothing else can. I'm fine, I promise. So yes, social media. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.